there's a chance Brian Koberger could be exonerated, and Dylan Mortensen and all of her sketchy friends are the reason why. Sketchy because they have all been caught lying since the beginning, and the internet is not done talking about it until all of the right people are behind bars. Creepy Hunter Johnson's girlfriend, Emily, plays actually a very big role in this, in my opinion, and I'm not sure how I've let her get by this entire time without talking about her as much. So don't worry, I'm going to make sure I keep mentioning Emily that will state to police that she was given a full description of someone being in the King Road house, and she sent her creepy boyfriend Hunter Johnson over there, and he was painted as a hero on national television, a fucking hero. But when you hear that 911 call, all of those young adults, emphasis on adults, were close enough to Xana, the girl on the fucking floor on that 911 call who was stabbed over 50 fucking times. Her head, her entire body, her kneecap. So anyone that got close to her knew that she was not just drunk and passed out. They absolutely saw blood. They absolutely saw stab wounds. There's no way you couldn't. And creepy Hunter Johnson, again, was painted as a hero for what? Grabbing a knife from the King Roadhouse, not bringing one from his own house, not even bringing his cell phone from his own house, because that would make too much sense, right? He had to make sure he went to the crime scene first. He contaminated everything. Enough time to grab that knife from the kitchen, go down the hallway, enter the bedroom that had his best fucking friend brutally unalive. Enough time to check the closet and make sure that nobody was in the closet, but he did not have enough time to go up to the third fucking floor and see if Kaylee and Maddie were okay. But also, if you hear that 911 call, that does not make sense at all, because you can hear a girl's voice. In my opinion, it does sound like Dylan. They say, poor Kaylee. What do you mean, poor fucking Kaylee? Absolutely nobody even knew if they were in the house. You didn't hear creepy Hunter Johnson's girlfriend talk about that knife. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you so you can hear it, because in my opinion, after re-listening to it yet another time, she sure does make it sound like that knife is actually the knife of choice. If you understand what I'm saying, she has no idea that that was the knife that Hunter was apparently the one holding from the King Roadhouse. You'll understand what I mean when you listen.
Yeah, the only thing, there was a knife on the floor. Right, immediately when I walked in.
So explain to me.
Which, I mean, like, that could be normal, but, you walk in, you go up the stairs right here, and then it's the living room. You go down this hallway and it's Anna's room. There was a knife right there on the floor.
Like in front of their room?
In front of, just at the top of the stairs.
Top of the stairs.
Which, I don't know why there would be,
What kind of knife, do you remember?
like a steak knife.
Just heard that. Let's go ahead and listen to what she stated just before that.
She called and said that last night around 4 a.m. she heard and saw a man, and she and were locked in their room sleeping, and they woke up, and she wanted me to come over and check the house because she was too scared. And I was like, okay, I'll come over.
Okay.
No, the 11:51, you said,
Yes.
right? So they saw and heard a man? Did they?
They saw a man last night around 4 a.m. She saw Kaylee scream and go up the stairs, and
So Kaylee screamed?
Kaylee scream and run up the stairs, because she lives upstairs, Kaylee does. Was screaming their names, and she didn't hear anything, so a while later she came back out to check, and I guess the man was standing right there staring at her.
Okay, so let me kind of just back up just a hair here, okay?
Okay.
So she said that she saw Kaylee run upstairs, and then Kaylee was screaming right around 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, and then go ahead.
And she opened the door a while later to check, and I guess the man was staring at her, and she didn't know what to do, and the man didn't do anything to her, and so she went back into the room, and she heard the side back door close, so she thought that they were gone, so they went to sleep.
Okay.
Called me in the morning to come check out the...
Then they just went back to bed?
Mm-hmm.
Did she say why she didn't think to call anybody when it was going on?
I didn't ask her that, but I was just talking to her, and I was like, well, do you know what he looked, blah, blah, all this stuff, and she said that she almost didn't, like, want to believe it, because she said, I was a little drunk. I went to the bathroom, and we walked over there, and I went upstairs, because she said Xana and Ethan were not waking up, and I was up there, and he grabbed me and told me that I didn't want to see it, and so I never went in there, and then the police arrived.
So you were just were you downstairs?
I went upstairs. They were all outside. I went upstairs. Hunter was in their room. And then he came out and said that he really didn't want to see it. So,
You just heard all of that. Let's talk about that knife, because she says it's there when she immediately walks in. And then she says, no, it's all the way down the hallway by the bedroom. No, now it's by the top of the staircase. Well, that's interesting, because do you also hear how she's making it sound? She has no idea that that's the knife that creepy Hunter Johnson is going to use to protect himself throughout the house. She has no idea if that's like the knife of choice for this interview, because it doesn't sound like an interrogation, if you haven't noticed, with this police officer, which was Officer Payne, who is also on the sketchy list in my opinion. He asks Emily, if you need a tissue or anything like that, they're right here. Does she sound like she needs a tissue? No. Does she grab one? No. Emily stated to police and to the world on TV that Xana was her best friend and so was Ethan. Again, she's not crying at all, and she was in the same house and absolutely saw at least Xana on the floor. She also stated, but then backtracks whether or not she was actually at the bedroom. So let's just go ahead and assume that they all saw Ethan and Xana. Not one of these fucking young adults, emphasis on fucking adult, told that 911 operator what the fuck happened. They never made any attempt for emergency services for their fucking friend. Creepy Hunter Johnson made sure that he didn't have his cell phone, and he's the first one to the fucking crime scene, doesn't bring anything to protect himself. If you're not mad yet, just wait until you hear this.
We went to my apartment, all of us as a group, to get sweatpants and change clothes for the other girls that did not. I could not go back in.
I see. Yeah.
Haven't already watched Dylan's award-winning performance, then also watch the body camera footage when she's giving her statement to police. That's why I say nobody knew that they were there, because Dylan will go back and forth. She says she heard Kaylee screaming, right? She heard Kaylee screaming. So that would obviously make you assume that they were in the house. But then she'll also in that same statement say she doesn't even know if they're home. She will also say that Xana and Ethan were in the same bedroom together. And then she will also backtrack and say, Xana was on the floor. Nobody can keep their story straight. Emily's interrogation with the police officer, she was given a full description. She was told that somebody was in the house. She said that she was scared. I don't know if I cut it off in the video, but she literally said she goes to the bathroom before she goes over there. And that's how Hunter is there before she is, because she goes to the bathroom. Even though these friends of hers are so scared. There's somebody in the house. There's a full description. There's a 4 a.m. time. Heard Emily clear as day. She got a full description. She also said that they thought that the man walked out the sliding door, yet nobody still called 911. Dylan couldn't understand what was real, what wasn't. She was too intoxicated. She wasn't too intoxicated to run to fucking Bethany's room. She ran right past the fucking front door. Not only did she do that, she was on Indeed. Bethany took photos at 8:41 in the morning. Hunter Johnson called Kaylee the wrong name twice. He calls her Kylie, and then he also calls her Kaylee. He wanted to paint the picture that he didn't know her very well, but he also had the passcode to their house. What female do you know that would allow any man the passcode to their house? No, I don't buy it. So I heard rumors that creepy Hunter Johnson had wandering eyes for Kaylee, and that Kaylee didn't have wandering eyes back for Hunter. Did that make Hunter mad? Did that make his creepy girlfriend mad? Just heard Emily clear as day give inconsistencies with the knife, inconsistencies with where she was in the house, and then you heard her clear as day tell that officer that she left the fucking scene of the crime with other people. How the fuck none of these young adults were charged with any sort of neglect, leaving the crime scene, or a failure to report a fucking emergency is beyond me. It was not a quiet night in Moscow. In fact, it was the exact fucking opposite. It was loud, it was active, and the internet is this fucking close to figuring out who Dylan Mortensen added to her phone at 3:51 in the morning. At 3:51 in the morning, Molly, the DoorDash driver, is seen on camera walking around trying to find the King Roadhouse. At 3:54 in the morning, Molly, the DoorDash driver, receives a text message from the customer. Are you having trouble finding it? At 3:59, that order has been confirmed delivered. Now, that food that was delivered, Jack in the Box. Remind yourselves that there are a lot of rumors going around about a possible you-know-what club. Food delivered was Jack in the Box. I'm not sure if that's some sick joke, because two of the prime suspects, in my opinion, are both named Jack, including her on and off again ex-boyfriend, ex at the time of her unaliving. They painted a picture, him and his roommate Adam, that him and Kaylee were going to get back together. Meanwhile, Dylan is telling him for the first time that a man is in the house. He's not reacting. He's not asking, is she okay? Can I go in the house? What's going on? He's just standing there with everybody else, just standing there, and everybody is covering their arms except for Dylan. All the guys have long sleeve sweatshirts on. Why were none of them told to put their arms up? Why was this not actually properly investigated? Why is there an officer or whoever the fuck he is a part of the investigation? Why is he walking right on top of the fucking footprints outside? I'm so confused. The other Jack is Jack Rogers Showalter. He also says Maddie and the other lady, her name's fucking Kaylee. He also states to police he was too intoxicated to remember, but he also told police he drove 5 hours to his family's cabin that night. But there was also blood found in his apartment. So how does that happen, Jack? He's also the same Jack related to the Idaho Attorney General's office. He's also the same Jack that's a hunter. He's also the same Jack that got caught putting carcasses on another frat's lawn. He's also the same Jack with the other Jack on camera footage that night at the bar right next to Chief Fry, the chief of Moscow. He's right next to him, and then Adam, and then you have Jack D, and then you have Kaylee, and then you have Maddie. He is one of the last people to see those two girls alive. Somehow he wasn't the number one suspect. That was Jack D, but that wasn't for that long. They don't ever want you to know that there was any other suspect. Why is the chief of Moscow, Idaho, at the bar with a bunch of young adults? Why, Santa Claus? The same group of young adults and also the same police department that try to paint the picture to the world that Moscow, Idaho is so safe, when in fact that's actually not true. 6 months prior to the brutal unaliving of these four beautiful souls, someone that Kaylee, the girl with no fucking face, was alleged dating, 19-year-old Hudson, a boy, was found drowned in a fucking creek at 19 years old. A creek? He was a swimmer, a good swimmer, and they ruled that no foul play. So again, the food delivered Jack in the Box. So on Ring camera footage, you can hear a male voice talk about double dipping, and it sure does paint a picture that this could definitely be some sort of love triangle or jealousy gone wrong. Remind yourselves, Kaylee was on her way to Texas. Dylan begged her to come home this weekend. Kaylee was so fucking beautiful, and none of those girls knew how to handle it. Xana was beautiful inside and out, the life of the party. She had the man that none of those other girls could have. Ethan, the hot shot on campus that none of the guys could compete with. Maddie, beautiful inside and out. She was stabbed around 13 times in her heart area, her head as well, her hands. Kaylee, 20 times in her head, her heart area as well, her hands. Ethan, his legs, his neck area. Xana, her entire body, her kneecap, her head. Every single one of those young fucking adults in that police department painted a picture to the public that this was the happiest group and that they had no idea why anyone would want to hurt these four people. Well, I think I just gave you more than enough reason why this entire group of sketchy fucking friends would hurt these four people. It was not a quiet night in Moscow. In fact, it was the exact fucking opposite. It was loud, it was active, and the internet is this fucking close to figuring out what sketchy Emily removed from that crime scene that day and brought to her own house. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a sketchy blondie lying by her toes. If she hollers, we'll spare her death row.